Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to create a relatively simple object. So I'm going to show you how to create a like a kitchen roll holder. So I'll show you an example image, so like this image here on the right. Again, it's quite useful to be able to design cylindrical shapes and to get an idea of how an object might look as a cylinder. Again, this is something that you could make on a wood turning lathe, or you might need cylindrical parts for feet for products or something like that you're going to 3D print, or you're going to use on a center lathe. So all of these things are quite useful to know how to actually design and figure out how they're going to go on your design work really. So we're going to start on the top plane. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the base first. So I'm going to do a cylindrical base like so. I'm going to smart dimension this. So this is a nice, quite quick, easy one to do. For our dimensions for this one, I'm going to do mine as 130 millimeters. Okay, so it's 130 millimeters diameter. I'm going to do a feature, just extrude that up. I'm going to make this 12 millimeters thick. So it's quite a good size base like so. Okay, and then I'm going to draw on this face here really. Actually no, I'm going to draw on the right plane. So we're going to sketch on the right plane instead now. And we're going to do normal 2. And again, just ignore the fact that this plane is actually down here. You can drag them up, but just remember that planes are actually infinite. Okay, they will just stretch and change shape as you need them to when you're doing your design work. I'm going to add a construction line, and I'm going to start it in the middle. So I'm going to find the center point. You should see it goes orange. And I'm going to add a construction line. This is going to go up 350 mil. Okay, so like so. And then afterwards, if I need to, I might change the size of my base a little bit, but we'll look at that after. So what we're going to do basically is this construction line is going to be used to rotate our object around to get the shape we want. I'm going to use this tool here. This is called the spline tool. If I click at the top point here, what this allows me to do is to create a kind of interesting curved shape of some kind. And then I'll have it go down, and I'll have it attach to this bottom line here. Now each time I click, it adds a spline point, and you can see them on here as little crosses, and what that means is I can actually stretch and shape these now. So it can be a bit troublesome if you have too many of these, because then it means every time you move one, there's a lot more points that kind of move as well. And as you move further down, they kind of impact the whole of the product. Do make sure that you're selecting the point and not the line. If you select the line, it will try and move the whole actual line, whereas if you try and move just the smaller part, it will then just move that kind of point instead. So you can have a bit of a play around with the shapes, get to a shape that you're quite happy with, like so. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to connect this line to the bottom of our construction line. So you should see it connect here. Press escape. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into features, and we're actually going to go into revolved boss base. So click that. What this is telling me is that there is a sort of gap somewhere. If I push a yes, it's going to try and fill it in and find where the gap was. It could have been a gap at the bottom. It could have been a slight gap at the top. If you click on yes, you run the risk that it's going to kind of do a random line straight through the middle or something. So you can push a yes, but sometimes you'll have to undo it and then try and change it afterwards. Now what's quite nice is, as you can see this, it means that I can actually see kind of what this shape is going to be. If I then push the green tick, you'll see that it's created that shape. Quite a nice simple shape really. You can add more details now if you wanted to, so you could go into edit sketch, and you can actually change the shape of this now. And because you've got the revolve already done, it means that it will actually update it as you go through and sort of make little modifications to it. And then when you exit the sketch, it will then fill it in. And then say if I wanted to change the size of the bottom, I could actually go into edit sketch, and I might decide I want to make this a little bit bigger, So I might make it 140 and then exit the sketch. And then you've just got your kind of basic shape. But that does give you an idea of how to revolve different objects. You could then decide if you want to add a chamfer. You could then chamfer the edge of this. Maybe change how much it's chamfering by. You could change the angle as well. So you could have a, like just a 5-degree angle or something, and it will make it a much smaller shaped angle. Okay, so it is just about trying out different parts on these. You'll see that it's got a nice little chamfer on there. But that's how you could create an object, just a nice simple one, for those of you that might need to add anything that revolved really, or revolved feet or something like that to your design work.